Servus, hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to continue with the video, The Entire History of Rome by Historically. And 1 week ago, I think we watched the first part, which is about the Roman kingdom, the founding of Rome. And because there was a lot of mythology and just a little real historical facts I checked under another video, which went deeper into how Rome was formed. And now we learned a bit about the Roman kingdoms, or the Roman kingdom, and gonna continue now with the Roman Republic, which I don't know that much of, besides the Punic Wars, which probably everyone knows about, between Carthage and Rome. And let's jump into the video.
And with that, we enter the era of the Roman Republic. Yes, still not empire, which in theory means no more kings, ever. We are done, we have learned our lesson. So, instead of one king, they elect two consuls, who have the power of a king, but definitely aren't kings.
For 1 year, right? If I'm correct?
They rule at the same time and can veto each other to quote-unquote keep each other in balance. They also switch out each year. I'm sure that will go well.
And I wonder if we're gonna learn how much power they really have, or if the power is like equally shared between them and the Senate, because I believe they are voted by the Senate, right? And they have been probably, I guess, senators before that.
Let's see how well oh my god, it's all burning down. Ever wondered how Rome became so militaristic? It wasn't just because their first king's daddy was the god of war. It's actually because of what's happening right here in front of us. Rome wasn't the only city that liked to plunder and kill, because the French in the ancient Gaul region wanted to do it before them. And the Romans lost to them. And not just a bit. The Gauls enter Rome, loot it, burn most of it, sit around like it's a camping trip.
I think the numbers of time that you hear the plundering of Rome, I my head of like 3 times, and there have been probably 10 times more. But heretical, because I remember correctly, Caesar is the one to later have his most famous or one of his most famous military campaigns against the Gauls and defeat them eventually in France.
And to leave only after the Romans paid them a ransom in gold. This event might as well be Rome's original story of their villain arc. Never again can we be this humiliated, said the Romans to each other. So they turn ultra militaristic. Anything that isn't nailed to the ground is about to get conquered. And oh god, were they good at it. They started with their Latin neighbors, then some hill tribes, then Greek colonies, then more tribes, then even more tribes. Basically, if you lived near early Rome, you were about to receive a very polite invitation to join the Republic or be flattened by it.
In what time frame does this happen? Because where we 500 BC, but I think the next time I know about is the Punic Wars, which is, I think, 350. Was it about 150 years?
The real challenge comes from across the water in the south, Carthage. They have a massive navy, way too much money, a beautiful city, and elephants. You know, the kind of neighbor Rome absolutely can't tolerate. So the two republics start fighting in what historians very casually call the Punic Wars, which is basically a trilogy movie about chaos. In the first movie, Rome goes, you know what, we want that island. Carthage responds.
And Carthage, if I know correctly, is from the Phoenicians, a city founded by the Phoenicians, and which have been dominating the Mediterranean Sea by trade for I don't know how long, for centuries before that. And so the Carthaginians, I don't know, have been basically ruling the sea for the last, how long, I don't know how long, but they're the strongest sea power in the area, right? And now Rome, which has no naval experiences, has to deal with that.
By saying that you don't even have a navy to stop us. And Rome responds by building a navy by stealing the design of the Carthaginian ships and win anyway. 1-0 for Rome.
I read that there's like, they found a shipwreck that was stranded at some beach somewhere, and they took it and completely rebuilt it 1-to-1, and then added their, what is the spike called? The spike bridge, which allows them to play out the huge strengths, being a land army fighting on land, and you just clinch yourself to the enemy's ship, and then you go onto it. That's what I remember. Maybe
Second War starts. And this is the big one. Hannibal appears. This man shows up with 50,000 troops.
I think the first Punic War was won by Rome, eventually by this tactic and the stealing of the ships, and then trying to fight back, or get a revenge for the humiliation or their territory loss. He started his campaign going over Spain.
37 elephants and the determination of many years of deep-rooted racism. He gathers in Spain, marches his army over the Alps, which is insane even today, and absolutely wrecks Rome for a year.
I think, it's the most famous story about Hannibal, him crossing the Alps with the elephants, but I think from all these elephants, only one survives. And I think one elephant is not really a key factor in his campaign after that, and a lot of people from him die. But I think, fortunately, the people in northern Italy hate Rome as much as him, and they join him and help him, if I'm correct. And then he continues for like we see for the next years, dominating all of Rome, and they are basically not able to defeat him.
Rome eventually wins because they are Rome, but yeah, Hannibal made them sweat. That's 2-0 for Rome.
They had like this tactic that they just didn't want to fight him anymore and just ran away and attacked the supply lines. And by this, they were able to rebuild their armies and then lost again, and then tried this tactic again. And eventually, what's this? Scopius? No, what's his name? Scopius Africanus. I don't know what's his name. He was elected consul, I guess. And he decides, I don't want to fight him here in Italy anymore. He just goes to Carthage and attacks Carthage. And the Hannibal has to go back and help his homeland, where he gets eventually defeated, right?
Then the third war is basically Rome saying, Carthage still exists, and that bothers us. So they delete the whole city from the timeline. Boom, gone, survivals of the fittest or whatever. And just for good measure, so they won't fight again, they enslave the whole city. And so, with their only real rival out of the way, Rome gets addicted to expansion like the British got to opium. They conquer Spain, North Africa, Greece, Turkey, and of course, the Gaul region. Instead of going to therapy about what happened to them before, Rome...
I like the video style, but I don't like that we have like 0 timelines here, because all this happens in, I guess, centuries, right? And would have been interesting to have some dates on these facts.
Literally conquered 10% of humanity, enslaved another 2%, and destroyed entire civilizations just to make sure they were strong enough to have revenge against the Gauls for what they did 330 years before. And the man who gets to deal the final blow to these Frenchies is Julius Caesar. Caesar is basically the final boss of the Roman Republic. He marches into Gaul with a relatively small army and proceeds to absolutely dismantle the place. And by dismantle, I mean defeat tribe after tribe, conquer all of France, dip into Belgium, flirt with Germany, and then casually invade Britain just to see what they taste like.
Just because
he comes back to Rome.
But I think there's like this famous TV show about Caesar where he defeats the Gauls and then takes the leader of Gaul in a humiliating march back to Rome. And I like I said, I don't know much about that much about Roman history, but I heard that he wanted a triumvirate, but I'm not quite sure whether that is like a parade. And they decided not to give him that, and then he comes back. I don't know.
So powerful that the Senate becomes afraid of him. So they order him to come to Rome alone and to leave his army behind. He naturally refuses and starts marching to the capital anyway. The Senate panics and flee as Caesar enters the city with little to no resistance. But that doesn't mean Rome was his just yet. He still had to defeat the disputed leader and his allies before he can legally become, I don't know, the first dictator Rome had.
And I think this is like a concept in Rome, which I have read about, that because the army was paid by not by the state of Rome, but by the generals, and by their success, they were extremely loyal to the generals, not to the republic as a concept. And so we have a lot of times that generals just walk into Rome with their army and throw over the power and get in power. I mean, especially now after Caesar, I think that happens. I'm not sure if I'm correct there. Maybe in some other videos we will check out. There are some more facts about that, but that's why Caesar is able to just use the army to overpower the Senate and become, I think, now a dictator for life.
Seen in 500 years? He fights all across the continent. Boinks Cleopatra on the way because why not? And after 4 years, finally gains control of the Republic. Half the Senate likes him, the other half wants to kill him by stabbing him 23 times. But is that hate justified? Well, kind of. But also absolutely not. Caesar wasn't a straight-up evil guy most people portray him as today. He was actually doing a lot of stuff that regular Romans love.
Yeah, and I guess it's just the autocracy of the Senate not wanting to share power or lose power to him, which made them evil, made them not liking him and describing him in the later, or describing him as evil, and then justifying their later murder by that.
He fixed the chaotic calendar, so months actually made sense. And it's why we now have 365 days. July is literally named after him, so you're welcome. He lowered taxes, cancelled debts, expanded citizenship, rebuilt half the city, gave lands to veterans of war, regulated grain supply, so poor
people...
He's
doing that for the people, not for the Senate, for the rich people. And they don't care about all of that, or most of that. What they care about is their own power and their own money, and he's not helping them really that much.
And starve, and tried to keep the army under control so rogue generals wouldn't create another civil war. But, and this is the but, the Senate couldn't ignore. Caesar was also absorbing every political office he possibly could. A dictator? Yep. Consul? Sure. Pontifex Maximus, aka the head priest? Why not? Basically, the man was collecting powers like they were Pokemon.
People thinking that he's not the first emperor, like we will, the first, it's named after Caesar, in Germany, Kaiser, but Augustus was the first one. He was only consul and dictator for life, and which is something different.
And the Senate, who spent 500 years being paranoid about kings, looked at this and went, oh god, he's becoming a king! So they decide to save the Republic by doing the most Republic-destroying thing possible. They murder him in the middle of a Senate meeting. And this might have been the dumbest thing they could have possibly done. Because, tiny problem, everyone liked Caesar except the senators. The liberators walk out of the Senate like, we did it guys, we saved the Republic. While the Roman people are more like, you killed the guy who lowered our taxes and gave us free grain? Let's just hope this somehow doesn't escalate. Look how they massacred my boy. This is Mark Antony, Caesar's bestie, who is apparently really upset that his friend is dead. But don't let it fool you, in reality, he really just enjoys power, and is about to usurp the power all to himself.
Vacuum, which he can, now we have, I think Mark Antony is becoming the new lover of Cleopatra, and now we're gonna have the civil war.
What's on my watch, says Octavius, the adopted 18-year-old grandnephew of Caesar. Octavius might look like an adorable baby boy, but in reality he is a cunning war criminal. Mark Antony, Octavius, and some random other guy that doesn't matter become the new united leaders of Rome. But in reality, it's more like Mark Antony and Octavius trying to become the sole leader. Luck has it for Octavius that Mark is a massive simp, and he too, just like Caesar, gets seduced by Cleopatra. So Mark leaves for Egypt, showers her in gifts, and Octavius sees this as the perfect opportunity to depose of his rival. Look, he's only spending his time in Egypt with his e-girl. And guess what? He is definitely planning to move the capital from Rome to Alexandria.
Ends in a sea battle
We should depose of him. It was a blatant lie, but the Romans believed it. They attack Egypt, defeat the Egyptians, and the love couple takes the easy way out to avoid being humiliated in Rome. That leaves Octavius as the sole ruler. He blatantly steals the plot of the good Star Wars movies because he declares himself first citizen, or imperator, and usurps all the power to himself. Finally, by the Senate, or whatever is left of...
And now he's becoming the first emperor of Rome, and the next years like expanding crazy and making Rome of what we now know today as the empire, the Roman Empire, which we will learn hopefully now.
After a campaign of revenge and bloodshed.
I think that's a good stopping point, because now we are going into the Roman Empire, which is probably the most anticipated part for me, because I don't really know that much about the Roman Empire. I know some names, and that there's a lot of intrigues and dead emperors and power struggles overall. And then we have concepts like the I don't know what's they called, the imperator guard. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But we will get there in the next video. And I liked quite a few things, but I want to look in other videos deeper, because it was a bit fast everything, but he tries to cover it all in one video, so I understand that he makes some sacrifices there. But I will check out some other videos. One of you recommended a channel under the other video, which I will check out, especially for the early history of Rome. And I saw one video about the Republic, which I will check out. And I hope you liked the video, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good day. Goodbye, guys.